guys, welcome back. Thank you for being here once again. Today we're going to be talking about cleanup brushes, and I'm going to be going over them in the context of cleaning your nail lacquer. When you apply nail polish and you make a mess around your cuticle area, how do you get that super crisp and clean line that you guys love so much? And the reason why I'm doing this is because a couple times a week I get a question about how do you apply how do you apply your polish so evenly, so perfectly? The lines look great. How do you do it? So my answer is always, just use a cleanup brush. There's really nothing else to it. And a lot of people don't know what they are. So they're like, can you please explain what they are? Because if you're in the nail community, cleanup brushes are just common knowledge to you. But if you're not, and you're just, a person that's consuming the content from the community, you might not know what this is. You might not know how useful it is. So we're gonna go over the different types of brushes that I use, different price points, where to get them, and that's it. We're gonna learn. So let's do it. Now, at any given time on my desk, on my nail desk, you're gonna find two brushes. One is gonna be a thicker brush that's used for bigger messes, and one that has like a very delicate tip, which I use for the part that's on top of the cuticle. Why is that? Okay, when you're using a brush that's thicker, it's faster to clean up when you make like a really bad mess on the sides. When you use a brush that's thinner, it's what gives you that perfect line around the cuticle without removing too much. Now, if you use a thinner brush to remove everything, it works. It just takes you longer to clean up bigger messes. But if you use a thicker brush, you clean up the bigger messes faster, but you also remove a lot from the top of the cuticle area, which is really not desirable because you want to clean up enough so the line looks clean, but you don't want to remove so much that it looks like you've had growth for a week. So that's the reason why I use, at any given time, I have two brushes. A thick one for the big messes, and then a thinner one for around the cuticle. I have in front of me 3 different brushes that I consider thinner ones, the more delicate ones. If you look at the, at the bristles at the very tip, and I don't know if this is gonna focus properly, maybe I should hide. I don't know how to do this, but you guys can see that they're very, very thin, And then if you look at the ones that are thicker, you're going to see that it's a big difference. They have, for example, let's look at the tips of both of them. When you go like this to them, you can see that this one has a lot, and this one provides like a thinner line. So now these 2 brushes that are the ones that I use for the thicker messes, this is a $1 brush from Dollar Tree. It's by Wet n Wild, and this is that famous elf concealer brush that's $1 in Target. So these run out a lot because people use them for concealer, but also for nail stuff, and I'm sure there's a lot of other applications that they use it for. This brush is $1 as well. So any one of these 2. Like, I first started using the elf one and I loved it, but to be completely honest, I have been liking the Wet n Wild more. And let me tell you why. Because it is thicker than the thin ones, but it also has the flat surface, and the bristles are shorter, and they just give me more control. Whereas this one, good enough if you can find this one, but it's just thicker. Now, these have been used and abused, so let me pull brand new ones so you guys can see how they are. And then, once they go bad, just get another one for $1. They're not brushes that are meant for nail polish removers, so of course they're not gonna last you the same as a brush that's meant to clean up nail polish, but for the price, I don't care. So here you have a brand new elf brush versus a brush that's being used a lot. You can see how the bristles with time go bad. So it's time for a replacement for this one. But I have a backup, so when I got 3 of them. The same situation happens with the Wet n Wild. If you look at the brand new one, which is this one, versus the one that's being used, you can see that the bristles have been, going through some stuff. But that's fine, right? Because they're $1. Like I said, I already have a backup. Whenever I see them, I grab them 3x3s. And I'm pretty sure one of these can last you a couple months. So it's not either like you're gonna have to replace them every week. So then the brushes that I have that are on the thinner side, I have 3. I have the Kni Beauty Bath brush. This is a fantastic brush that has a great price, and it lasts a very long time. A friend of mine recommended it, and she's like a freak when it comes to brushes. I'm gonna link her. You should check her out on Instagram. The next one I have is the Dimension Nails cleanup brush. And the other one that I have is the Mitty brush cleanup. Now, Mitty and Dimensionals both have two types of cleanup brushes, which are, there's one that's angled like this, and then there's also one that's flat. Let me show you. Let me see where it is. This is the one that's flat at the top. You can see the difference between angled and flat. It doesn't matter to me, either one. Lately, I've been on an angled mood, but the flat one works too. I used to use my Mitty one that was flat, and it worked great. One thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that regardless of which brush you use, whether you find another one that's not even one of these, anything off-brand, whatever you have, just as long as it's like thinner, whenever you're using it, you're gonna get used to the type of movement that the bristles need, because they're not all the same. If you notice, this one's wider, sorry. So this one's a little bit wider. This one's a little bit thinner than this one, but wider than this one. Then this one is shorter, a little bit taller. These two are, you know, so the distribution of the bristles matters. I give up. Matters when you're doing your movement to clean up, which we are gonna see here in a moment, how to like actually do it. It matters, so you're gonna get used to it. Like, it happens to me that I use this one for a little bit and then I get bored, whatever, and I just switch to my next one. This one feels weird, like the first day, because I'm trying to do the movement that it requires to do this one on the bristles that are this one. It's not the same type of movement. So any one of them, once you get used to how the bristles behave and how much they remove from the cuticle and all that, it's gonna be fine. The same happens with these guys. It's the same situation, right? You're gonna get used to them, and then you know how much to push, how much to move, how, you know what I'm saying? So if you're used to one and you try another and it feels weird, just give it a day, because that's happened to me, and I can tell you that the way your body is used to the movement matters a lot. So you're good to pick any cleanup brush and you're gonna get used to it and you're gonna be fine. All right, so let's get going and, you know, actually show how the brushes work, and just get into a little bit more of a practical side of the video here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and apply polish to this nail in a black color, just so we can see the cleanup properly. I have already applied my base coat, so let's just go ahead and try and make a mess. Ugh, this is a big mess. I cringe at this. Now, this is what I would consider a big mess. So what I would do is dip my brush in the acetone, and I always dab it against the paper just so that it removes the residue, like so that it's not too much, and then just remove the big stuff. All right, clean up before the second time around, remove the excess, and keep going. Now, if you don't remove the excess properly, what happens is the acetone goes into your polish, right? So you want to remove the excess and clean up your brush and the paper in between trips into your cuticle. This is a mess. This is a big mess. This is black and it's everywhere. So once you remove the bigger, I mean, I don't recommend you painting all over your finger like this. Like I said, I cringe at this, but just for the sake of experiment, we're doing it. So once you have removed the majority of things, now you're in a situation where it's inside the nail, and if you put the big brush in here, what ends up happening is that look at how much you're removing. You remove a lot. You see that? Now, if you grab a brush that's on the thinner side, you barely remove anything. You barely remove anything. You'll see. Let me show you. Let me put more so that I can clean up properly and show you the difference if you use a thin one for the cuticle versus a big one. This is such a messy polish. It's black, what can I say? But you see how the line, it's much smaller. Okay, now you can remove more if you want. Like if I incline it like this, I remove more if you wanted to, you know. But it also allows you to remove very little. So for example, let's try over here. Let's say that I don't reach my cuticle. Let's say that I don't reach my cuticle at all, but then the line doesn't have that perfect, you know, little circle that you guys like, you can use this and just give it, you know, do the little angle that you guys like. That looks as if, you know what I'm saying? So even if you have little bits going up like this, you know, you can get rid of them and get that line. I mean, of course, I just messed it up, but you know what I mean? Like, look. So this takes a little bit of practice, you know? At the beginning, you're not going to be able to do it. And now let me just get one moment to clean this up because it's driving me crazy. All right, so it takes a little bit of practice to get that movement, because what might end up happening to you at the beginning is that you end up doing something like this. You grab your brush and you put it in there, and then you end up doing things like that, you know? But that takes practice, you know? It takes practice to get the movement. And also what I do is I rest the brush against the skin. Okay, don't try to like freehand it. You grab the brush and you rest it against your skin. You barely touch the nail. Let's do this other one and do one of my favorite, which is when things flood on the side. This, ugh, I hate that. I hate when that happens. So for this one, I love this one. This brush is great. So you just do like this. Mind you, I'm doing black. This is the worst case scenario, all right? Nothing will ever be as messy as this black. This black is super pigmented. So you might take a couple tries, you know, before you get it completely clean, but you remove the bad stuff and then you come to your little line and you just go like, that's it. Clean up excess so that it doesn't flood into your color and give it that round look, you know? It takes practice, like I said. Right now, I'm in a very bad position because my brush keeps knocking into my lamp. Let me just move this a little bit and maybe I can work properly. So let's go once again. I'm gonna do this one how I normally would do polish, where I don't really get any mess on my skin, you know? But still, you're gonna see that even for someone that can paint their nails without making much of a mess, the cleaner brushes help, because now I go in and I just touch up things, you know? And it allows you to get a line that's very, very, very even. You see that? There you have it. Now be careful. Sometimes your brush is gonna have little pieces of cotton, little pieces of glitter. You wanna make sure it's clean before you use it, you know? But look at the tip. You see how thin that is as compared to this other guy? Or this other guy? You know, if you are going to use this to remove the top of your cuticle, for sure it's not gonna have the same precision as this guy. And even this one's not gonna have the same precision. This one's still more precise than this, but you can't compare it to how this guy is, you know? So I just made a mess over here, but you guys get the idea. Look at the lines. This one I made a mess on purpose. This one I removed a lot. And this one's the one that I did how I normally would do it. The line looks pretty good. Okay, so now that we know how to use them, one thing that's important is to know how to keep them, how to store them so that they don't go bad. Or, I mean, eventually they all, you know, they're gonna go bad, but just so you can extend the life of your brush as much as possible. When you finish, I want you to clean it. Just, you are going to grab whatever remover, acetone, whatever it is you use, and you're just going to make sure you don't have anything left, any polish, anything. You can even use it for gel as long as you don't cure it, of course. Use it for gel, clean it up and store. I've done that, it's fine. After you finish, I want you to grab your cuticle oil and just, you don't need that much, just, I don't know, a little bit. Just lather it a little bit, you know? Kind of like, just to keep it clean and soft. And then you put the cap back on it and you store it, and the next time you pick it up, it's gonna be very, very good. Now, if every single time you use them, you store them with nail polish, so that the next time you have to use it, it's full of nail polish and you have to remove it and the nail polish is harder, you are little by little going to reduce the life of the brush. It's just common sense, right? Any brushes like that, just not nail brushes. But, you know, if you clean it up just with remover and put a little bit of oil before you store it, you're gonna extend its life and you're gonna be happy. So that's it for this video. I hope this was useful for you guys. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Like I said, I'm going to be linking all the brushes that I have and where you can find them. But the way to search for them is if you just Google like cleanup brushes, nail polish cleanup brushes, something like that. As long as you have the properties that I'm saying, where it's a brush that's either angled or flat is fine, but when you look at it this way, it looks thin, then I think you're gonna be good to go and it's gonna work. And for the bigger ones, something that looks similar to this, you know, it can be a makeup brush or whatever. So that's it. I hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye.